सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Action and reaction. That is our topic for this evening. Let us first understand what we mean by action and reaction. Very often the word reaction is used for response. Response to a situation is called a reaction. But we are using that word reaction in a specific manner, as contrasted to action. Let us give you an example. Here is an actor who performs the role of a beggar in a play. And this play is going on every day. There is a certain script according to which the actor performs the role. So while performing the role, the actor is quite aware of what role he has to play, what the script is, and thus he performs his role every day. One of the scenes here is that this beggar is begging and different people pass by. Some people throw some money at him. Some people don't look at him. Some people even say insulting words to him. All of this is a routine for a beggar, and the beggar is supposed to put up with all of this. This is the script. The script is that the beggar puts up with whatever kind of treatment that is shown to him. And he does it very effectively. He's a good actor. One day, however, before coming to the theatre, he had an argument with his wife. And when he left home, he was very angry at his wife. His mind was filled with ideas about what all his wife told him, etc., etc. So in anger he comes to the theatre, in anger he changes his dress, and still his anger is not gone. In anger he puts on his costume as a beggar, and he comes to the stage and plays his role. Now this he has been doing every day. But today what happened is, when a passerby, according to the script, the passerby says insulting words and this person is supposed to just put up with them. But today, God knows what happened. That fellow said some insulting words and this fellow got up and punched him. The curtains came down. The director came and said, "What did you do? Why did you punch him? So why did he insult me?" Hey? So, this is called reaction. What he does every day, when he plays his role according to script and does what is right, he is a very deliberate person. He performs what you call actions. But today, when he punched this person, this is not an action because it is reaction, because that anger is not yet gone from his mind. And therefore, moment that fellow said something, what all had happened in the home came back in his mind and he was triggered, his anger was triggered and he acted out of anger. This is reaction. So understand the difference between action and reaction. Action is a deliberate action. Reaction is an impulsive action. It is an action, all right, but action we perform, reaction takes place. So every day he was acting according to script, but today it is anger that actually made him act the way he did, and therefore reaction is something that happens. Alright, suppose that is so, Swamiji, what's the big deal about it? Why are we talking about it? Well, that is because as human beings we are given a free will, we are given an intellect with which we think, with which we analyze, with which we deliberate, with which we discriminate, and with which we come to decisions. So whenever we perform an action that is a deliberate action, then I am performing the action. Then my free will is put to use. However, whenever I act out of an impulse, such as an anger, then my free will at that time is not into operation, understand? So even though as human beings we are gifted with the free will, what's the free will? Free will is the freedom of choice. Free will is the freedom to perform deliberate action. If we compare ourselves with other creatures, such as a donkey, as best as we understand, other creatures do not have free will. They don't perform deliberate actions. There is no premeditated action. See, we can perform premeditated action. We can plan and perform action according to what we want. A donkey does not meditate. A donkey is standing, facing the wall. He doesn't know who is at the back. But donkey's habit is, whoever comes near his rear leg, he kicks. That is protection mechanism. So usually a donkey faces wall and kicks whoever comes behind him. One day, as the donkey is standing, his owner happened to come there, and without knowing, thinking, this fellow kicked the owner, and then got really punished for that. The donkey reacts. Donkey does not act. Meaning that there is no deliberation. If the donkey had deliberated, then it would have seen who is behind, and this is my owner, and I better watch out the consequences of my action. So we can actually deliberate upon the consequences of our action and then make a decision. Sometimes I also may feel like kicking. When somebody says something to me, I may also feel like kicking. I raise my leg, and then I find that the person in front of me is 6 feet 3 inches, 220 pounds, and I lifted my leg. Slowly I bring it back. Because I can deliberate. I can think of the consequences of my action, and therefore I can deliberate on my action. I have freedom not to do something. What is free will? Free will is not only freedom to do something, freedom not to do something also. And free will is a great gift that is given to us. Because we can make choices. And we can see how human being, on account of making proper choices, has made such tremendous advancements. No other creature has made any advancement at all. A sparrow keeps building its nest hundreds of years, no change at all. There are no architects, I guess, among the sparrows that they can change the design of the nest. Some sparrows are so stupid that they bring the straw of grass, blade of grass, dry grass, puts in a place, it falls down. It sometimes chooses a wrong place to make a nest, and every time it puts some grass, it falls down and still keeps on coming back there only. I don't know whether they can think. They can think all right. Some basic things they can think. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuram. Meaning that appeasing the hunger, so eating when you are hungry is a natural instinct. Nidra, sleeping when you are tired, a natural instinct. Bhaya, protecting yourself, a natural instinct. Maithunam, then procreation also is a natural instinct. So all the creatures have these four natural instincts. And human being also has these four natural instincts. But what distinguishes a human being from other living beings is his free will, his capacity to perform, to deliberate, his capacity to contemplate, his capacity to meditate, his capacity to plan, his capacity to execute, his capacity to perform a deliberate action. So deliberate action we will call action. An impulsive action we will call a reaction. A deliberate action we perform. An impulsive action just takes place. Is there something to be lost when we react? Very much so. Usually, a reaction is something that is damaging to us. Reaction happens when I act out of an impulse of anger, of jealousy, of frustration, of hatred. So whenever any one of these impulses takes hold of my mind, then the action that proceeds from me is not an action, it's a reaction. And that time I perform an action that is always damaging to somebody. Whenever I act out of anger, I will definitely hurt somebody. With my words, I may hurt somebody's feelings. With my action, I may hurt somebody physically also or emotionally also. And in the turn, I also hurt myself. So, by reaction, we are hurting ourselves and losing the opportunity of growth. The reason why human being is given freedom is so that he can deliberate, he can grow. We can make choices. So whenever we are deliberate, we can make choices and we can make right choices. When you are deliberate, then you make the right choices, reach your destination. Sometimes we are not deliberate, even while driving also. You know, this person every day goes to his work and goes on a certain road and takes a certain exit. The other day we were going to the temple for our talks. It's the same road, except the temple exit is farther ahead. This fellow took this exit as usual, you know, that he normally takes for his office. This is a habitual thing, you know. And that time we are not deliberate. So sometimes actions are impulsive, sometimes actions are mechanical. Action can be impulsive, action can be mechanical. Mechanical action we know, when very often we try to meditate, how our mind mechanically jumps from one thought to the other. I want to meditate on Om Namah Shivaya, this is what I want to repeat in my mind. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, then the word Shiva connects with Shivaram. Shivaram is an attendant of Pujya Swamiji. From that my thought goes to Pujya Swamiji. From there it goes to Sandipani Sadhanalaya. From there it goes to Pawai. From there it goes to Andheri. From there it goes to Bombay. From there it goes to some ways. This is the mechanical thinking, where again there is no control. So this is also not an action. So impulsive thinking is when I act out of impulse. Mechanical thinking, when my mind meanders into different course because of some association. Definitely Namah Shivaya, Shiva has association with Shivaram. Has association, our mind goes by association, and some connection is there, all right, no doubt, but there is no deliberation at all. It just keeps on wandering from place to place. A lot of our thinking also is like this, meandering, wandering, mechanical. So whenever our thinking is mechanical or our thinking is impulsive, that time it is not deliberate, and we are missing out. Because that is the glory of human being, that he can perform actions which are not only deliberate actions, but which are the right actions. He makes the right choices. Upanishad says that two kinds of choices are available to us. Two paths are laid out for us. Upanishad calls it the path of the Shreyas and the path of the Preyas. Path of Preyas, the path of that which is tempting, path of that which is attractive, path of that which gives an immediate gratification. And path of Shreyas is path of the long-term good. This is the path of the long-term gain and short-term pain. This is the path of the short-term gain and a long-term pain. Sitting on the dining table, already doctors told me, Swamiji, you are too sweet inside. They have cut out all the sweets. When you place a rasgulla in front of me, my old habits come back. And rasgulla tempts me. I remember doctor's advice. Doctor has told you, Swamiji, no rasgulla for you. But the temptation is so strong that, and fortunately for us, the hostess is always obliging. Swamiji, one day it's all right. I said, no, I can't eat rasgulla. Swamiji, one rasgulla will not do any harm. And after all, you are coming to our place only once in a year. And then I made the rasgulla myself, Swamiji, And this, like that, little bit emotional pressure is brought in. Inside I am ready to eat rasgulla. Although outwardly I am denying it, inside I am all ready. And I am waiting for somebody to do this kind of pushing, The right pushing is done. This choice is what choice? Short-term gain, long-term pain. It's a choice because of my temptations. Choice because of my attraction or attachment or temptation for what is sweet in this particular instance. Other choice would have been to avoid it, which should have been painful because my mouth is watering. What happens is that everybody on the dining table is eating rasgulla. And I am the only one who is not eating. My mouth is watering. And for me to stay away from that is rather painful because it requires a self-control. My palate says, come on, have one. My hands are ready to go there and I restrain myself. It is self-control, restraining. It involves a certain amount of pain. Pain of deprivation of what I like to do. But what is that path? That is the path of the short-term pain, long-term gain. So this is where the freedom of choice comes into play. Where is the human being? What distinguishes human being from all of the creatures? Other creatures simply go according to their instincts. They are all programmed. But fortunately for them, they are programmed right. They will never eat wrong things, Animals generally will eat always what is right for them. They don't make wrong choices. A cow always eats grass. It will always avoid meat. It won't eat it. As the Swamiji says, you place a hamburger before a cow. The cow will eat the bun part of it and leave out the middle patty part of it. On the other hand, if you put the same hamburger before a dog or something like that, it may eat the middle part. Possible. But they make right choices as they are programmed. And so they don't make right choices, they don't make wrong choices, they make choices as programmed. But when you are programmed, you don't grow. Like a fan is programmed. When you switch on the light or press the switch, the fan starts rotating. It is programmed to do that. And similarly, all nature, everything other than human being is programmed to act in a certain manner, which it does. Therefore, they neither grow nor do they decline. A dog remains a dog. When it is born dog, it dies also a dog. But a human being is born a human being. It can die as a dog also, it can die as God also. These choices we have, depending upon what choices we made. Thus, a huge potential is given to us. Potential of growing. Growing from where we are to where we could be. Where we could be. What potential do we have in our life? Upanishad teaches, Tattvamasi, hey, you are limitless in nature. We have a tremendous potential to grow. And that growth is possible only when there is a choice. And human being alone is gifted with this faculty of choice, provided he makes a good use of that faculty. The faculty of choice is not utilized by us whenever we act mechanically or whenever we act impulsively. That faculty of choice is not available to us. And therefore, it is very important action, meaning a deliberate action. An action which involves a proper deliberation. So, human being alone is capable of a deliberate action. Thank you. So, we are told that we have a limitless potential within ourselves, and by making right choices, we can explore that potential. We can tap into that potential. If you look at what our activities, our actions, we will find that all our actions are meant for gaining happiness. Simple. Why do we do the way whatever we do? Is because we want to be happy. The question is, where is that happiness? Human being has concluded that happiness is out there in the world, in the objects of the world, in the achievements, in the wealth, in the name, fame, power. That is where the success is. The Upanishad says that no, success is not to be found out there. Success is your very nature, in fact, meaning that you are the very success. But Swami, it is like this. Have you heard of a musk deer? It is said that a musk deer has musk in its navel, and this deer gets attracted to the fragrance of the musk and is searching for musk all over. And where is it actually? It is in its own navel. Similarly, human being also is searching for success and happiness everywhere, whereas it lies with himself. So this is where also the deliberation comes. The Upanishads teach us how to make a deliberation in life. What should be the right attitudes? What should be the right values? We can entertain attitudes, we can entertain values. This privilege nobody else has. But those attitudes and values can be entertained by us provided we are performing a deliberate action, not otherwise. When I act out of anger, there is no value there is no attitude there, it's all wrong action. When I act out of jealousy also, it's a wrong action. Act out of greed also, it's a wrong action. Act out of hatred, it's a wrong action. Whenever I act out of any of these negative emotions, it's a wrong action. It's a hurtful action. Meaning that I'm hurting myself, I'm hurting others and hurting myself. And therefore, a deliberate action. But then also, when we make choices, what would be the real use of free will when we make a choice which will lead us to the goal of our life? Understand that we are all born with a certain goal or certain agenda. And what is that goal? Simple goal, happiness or success. And usually we follow the path that the world follows. That everybody is searching for success in wealth and name and fame, and we also run after those things. Never stop to think whether what they are doing requires inquiry or not. Here I have 5 children, 5 friends. One day they are running around, walking, going ahead for a picnic. There was a huge banyan tree, and there was a pavement underneath. On that there was a big Ganesha statue. This Ganesha has a huge belly, and there is also a navel there. The children are very naughty. So the naughtiest child, he inserted his finger into the navel of that Ganesha. Immediately pulled out. So his friend asked, "Hey, what happened?" "Hey, you try, it's good, it's nice." Other friend also pulled out. One by one, all the friends put them, and nobody would tell what the thing is. A scorpion is sitting in there. And whoever puts his finger, the scorpion stings, and he doesn't tell his friend. Similarly, the world never tells us what their experiences are. This is all aja, fasaja, that is that. Even though they know what is what, because there is a tremendous frustration in life. If you are trying to extract oil out of sand, you can never be successful. And similarly also, if you are seeking success where it is not, you can never feel any kind of a sustained degree of success. Whenever a desire is fulfilled, momently we feel happy and successful, that yes, I am successful. But its effect lasts for a short time, it wears out, and then again I am after some other success. When I was in India, going to United States was success. When I came here, finishing my graduation was a success. When that happened, getting a job was a success. When that happened, H1 visa was a success. That happened, green card is a success. When that happens, now getting married is a success. When that happens, getting a house is a success. That happens, getting a child. Like that, this definition of success keeps on changing. Even though so many of my desires satisfied one by one, its effect lasts for how long? The thrill or the excitement lasts for a short time. I get used to it, and now I get bored with what I have. I want something else. But unfortunately, human being never thinks that how come I'm not satisfied? How come the satisfaction is not a lasting satisfaction? How come in spite of having achieved so much in my life, if I look at my own life, say what it was 15 years ago and what it is today, a tremendous difference is there. But I do not know if I can say whether my level of satisfaction has increased in the last 15 years. Formerly, I was getting a salary of $15,000 and I had a certain level of satisfaction. Today it is $150,000 and still my level of satisfaction has not arisen. That I want more and more has still remained. So a human being is capable of making an analysis and inquire as to what exactly is going on in my life. And that is where the teaching of Vedanta comes in. How to make the right choices. So look, you are what you are searching for. Just as a musk deer is told that look, the musk is right in your own navel. And similarly also, you are what you are searching for. Meaning that you have to discover the success from within yourself. You need to tap into the success which is your own nature. How do I do that? What kind of attitude, is some change required in my life, Swamiji? Are you trying to tell us that we should renounce and then we should go leave this life and become renunciates and go to forest and do meditation? What are we supposed to do? If you say that what we are doing is not right, then should we stop doing what we are doing? Then who is going to feed us tomorrow? No, Vedanta does not say stop doing what you are doing or change what you are doing. It just says change the attitude, that's all. What Vedanta teaches is the change in attitude. One simple change in attitude I can tell you. One attitude is this. Our Swamiji, my Guruji once was saying that when anybody comes before me, the first thought in my mind is, how can I be useful to this person? When anybody comes before me, the first thought, I'm talking about Swamiji, not about me. So when he says, when anybody comes before me, the first thought is, how can I be useful to this person? If I talk about me, then what is my attitude? When anybody comes before me, my attitude is, how can I use this person? So either how I can use the person, or how can I be useful to the person. Two attitudes. One is the attitude of grabbing, other is the attitude of giving. Two attitudes are possible. What does Vedanta teach? What does Bhagavad Gita teach? How to gain success in our life? How to use action? How to use our faculty of choice? How to use the faculty of deliberation? And first of all, basic understanding is that what I am seeking in life is to be discovered from my own self. Happiness is to be discovered from myself. Success is to be discovered from myself. And for that, if Swamiji, happiness is myself, then what am I supposed to do? Well, don't ask for happiness, start giving happiness. There are two ways of becoming happy. Our Bada Swamiji used to tell us the story of the gods and demons. Once these gods and demons will always fight, Devatas and Danavas always fight with each other. Once upon a time they declared a truce and they decided to celebrate that Sandhi, that Suleh, that truce, the peace treaty among them. They decided to celebrate that. So the gods invited all the demons to heaven. You know, the gods live in heaven in great luxury. The demons, poor fellows, live in the Patala, in the nether worlds, in a miserable condition. So today, they are invited in heaven for a great feast to celebrate that peace treaty. And the king of gods, Indra, he has a big, huge garden called Amaravati. That's Amaravati, the Puri. That is his city. And in the big garden, all the tables are all set up. Very nice tablecloth and all the plates and silver and crockery and everything is beautifully set up. And even looking at this, these demons are so excited. Wow, this is going to be a great feast. They're all made to sit very systematically. The tables are so laid that one row here, one row across, one row here, one row across. Like that, so many rows are there. And the food is, now they started serving the food. It's very delicious food. The aroma of the food is very attracting. But they were told, don't start eating unless before everybody served. So wait. Okay? So poor fellows have to restrain themselves, because normally our habit is what? As the food is served, we start putting in our mouth. Some people don't even worry that this prayer is going on, they forget it. Sometimes in our own dining table hall also, when people come from outside, they don't have this right kind of training or orientation. We chant that 15th chapter of Gita, they start eating already, they don't know. These are all demons, uncultured people, they do not know. So therefore they were told, hey, don't start eating before everybody is served. Okay, so they restrain themselves. After food is served, before you start, chant 15th chapter of Gita. All right, come on, chant. After that, says before now you start, there's one more ritual to be performed. Remember that you are in the heaven. First of all, you should eat with right hand, not with left hand. Okay, let us proceed now, this fellow says. All of you, stretch out your right arm. Now these fellows are wondering, what are they up to now? What do they want to do? Stretch out the right arm. They all brought sticks, arm-long sticks, and their arms are all tied with the sticks. Now the mantra is said, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. Okay, now Namah Parvati Pate. Start eating. How can you eat? For eating, you must take food from a plate, bend your hand, bend your arm, and put food in your mouth. But the arm is all tied with a stick. How can you do that? So these demons are all angry, says that they have called us here, invited us here, made all this big show, and then they are making fun of us, they are ridiculing us. They were going to pull out their swords and a fight would have emerged right there. Fortunately, one of the old demons said, wait a minute fellows, calm down, sit down. There must be something in this. And so they all sat down, and then the old demon says, look, here there is some idea here behind this. What is it? Certainly you cannot bend your hand and put the food in your mouth, but you can take the food from the plate of the fellow across your table, put it in his mouth. So for feeding, you don't have to bend your hand. Wow, now these fellows are very happy. This is something great. And now you take a morsel of food and put in the mouth of the fellow sitting across your table, and you see him enjoying that food. They are more enthused. They started pushing food to each other, So the first time, these demons not only had the pleasure of eating the food, but a greater pleasure of feeding. Today they discovered what joy there is involved in feeding. So most people know the joy of eating. But Bhagavad Gita says that no, the joy of feeding is much greater than joy of eating. All mothers know this. When they feed their children, I remember as children we were growing up, mother would cook some delicious dish, and we would wipe out everything. Without bothering about whether something is left for the mother or not, we would wipe out everything, eat away everything. When I grew up, I realized what we were doing. Then I say to myself, if I become mother, which I would never become, but if ever I become mother, first thing I would do is to put up my plate, fill up my dish, put it on the side, and then feed everybody else. But a mother never does that. Mothers are very stupid creatures. They never look at their own needs, and they are just happy feeding the children because they know the joy of feeding. Everybody knows the joy of eating, but joy of feeding is much subtler and much greater and much lasting. In grabbing, when you want to grab, people will resist. A lot of resistance will be there, a lot of competition will be there. When we were children, as growing up in a small town, medium-sized town, as friends, still studying in the school, sometimes we would go for a little picnic. So each one would contribute some 25 paisa or something like that, and we'll buy that mixture, mixture from the shop. A big, that shopkeeper will wrap it in newspaper and then give us this packet. So we'll go to a big park, play around, and then there comes a time of enjoying the feast, and the newspaper is open, all 6-7 fellows are sitting around, and you have to watch, because it's a grabbing game. Quicker you eat, more you can get, you can see. When there's grabbing, there's pushing around, there's competition. When there's giving, no competition at all. Nobody will ever compete with you when you want to give. So, what is called real action? Not even just a deliberate action. but an action with an attitude of a giver. Or, in Swami's words, the action performed with the attitude of a contributor. Either you can be a consumer in your life, or you can be a contributor in life. But Swami, what do we get? Suppose I start contributing. Suppose I start giving happiness. Contributing means what? Giving happiness. It doesn't only mean contributing money. Contributing means contributing to happiness, comfort of somebody else, happiness of somebody else. Suppose I do that, Swami, what do I get? We all have experiences now and then. We are not that helping people, but now and then we help. When we find really a person in need, then we go out of our way to lead him, to cross the road. Or in a dining hall, get a glass of water for somebody. Or sometimes, standing in long lines, I surrender my place to somebody who is more needy. We do these small acts of charity now and then. But it is our experience that whenever we perform in a small act of charity, it gives us a great satisfaction. Because the reason is simple. Reason is that I know that when I am in need, I want others to help me. And therefore, when others are in need, I am also supposed to help. So when I help the needy, then I know that I am doing something right. It is in keeping with the universal order. And that is the reason why it gives me a great satisfaction about myself, a great sense of self-worth that I have done something worthwhile. So what is action? Really speaking, an action is an act of contribution, an act of giving, an act of charity, an act with an attitude of being helpful to somebody. You need not have to contribute money all the time. It is just your time. It is your kindness. It is your skill. Something you contribute. This is one thing. And secondly, we must also learn how to overcome those impulses which may create reactions. This will be possible provided we work on our impulses, such as anger, such as jealousy, such as, So, these impulses in fact compel us to act against our own will and make us do things which are damaging to others rather than helping others. And therefore, we should also be constantly trying to overcome these impulses. The impulses are recognized as three. Lord Krishna says there are three basic impulses which in fact damage a person. Kamaha, Krodhaha, Lobhaha. Kama means a strong desire, a craving. Krodha means anger. Lobha means greed. Kama, Krodha and Lobha. So whenever any of these feelings arises in our mind, we should be always alert and vigilant and try to diffuse it. Meaning that we should try not to surrender to the impulse of kama, krodha, lobha, but when this impulse arises, we should try to subdue them. Not suppress them, but dissolve them. How do you do that? So I'll just give you a simple story and a simple tool today. Two things we are talking about. One is for deliberate action, making right choices, choice of being a contributor versus a consumer, choice of being a giver versus a grabber. This is one aspect of action. Second aspect of action is overcoming those impulses which are identified as kama, krodha, lobha. Kama, a strong desire. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. So what do we do when anger arises? What should I do? When greed arises, what should I do? When a strong impulse or desire arises, what should I do? So for that, in the Upanishad, a story is told that we have this creator is called Prajapati. Prajapati has three kinds of progeny. Devas, Danavas and Manavas. Prajapati has three kinds of children. Devatas or gods who live in the heaven. Danavas, the demons who live in the netherworld. Manavas, the humans who live on the earth. So Bhuhu, the three worlds are there, the three kinds of living beings are there. One day, all these three decided to go to Prajapati to seek some instruction from him. So Devatas, Danavas, Manavas sent their representatives. They went to Brahmaloka. One day, Prajapati invited the representative of Devatas. Says, why have you come here? What can I do for you? Says, revered sir, we have come here to seek some instruction from you in our day-to-day life. So Prajapati uttered one letter, the. Say, did you hear what I said? Yes sir, you said the. What does it mean? Damyata. Damyata means have control over the self. So whenever a strong desire arises in the mind, then the way to contain that desire within yourself is by self-control. For example, on the dining table, a desire arises. For me, there is this Rasagulla here. I already had one, only had two. And still my mind says, I want three, I want four. And I know that it is wrong to do that. At that time, self-control. Restraining oneself and not allowing the mind to fulfill the desire which we know is going to be damaging to us. So, for kama, the answer is the, which is damanam or control of the self. Next, the demons are called. What can I do for you? Same request, O Lord, revered sir, please give us some instruction for our day-to-day life. Prajapati uttered the same letter, the. Did you follow what I said? Yes sir, you said dayadvam, have daya, have mercy, have compassion. Because the demons are very angry people, very cruel people. So whenever anger arises towards somebody has done something to make me angry, anger rises inside. Before anger becomes so powerful that it controls me, I try to control that anger by replacing it with daya, mercy, compassion, kshama, forgiveness. Okay, let him go. He made a mistake, he did something wrong, doesn't matter, be large-hearted, be compassionate. So, compassion is the answer or the antidote for krodha. Third fellows, the human beings are greedy fellows. They went to Prajapati. Prajapati told them also, the. Means what? Datta, have dhanam, have charity in your life. You people you are all small-hearted people, become large-hearted people. So whenever this greed arises in me, you know what is greed? Greed is not being able to part with what I have. Greed is not being satisfied with what I have, and even when I have plenty, the inability to share. Even part with somebody who is needy, I just can't. I know my own case. In India, when you are driving, I am generally riding with somebody, and when your car stops at the intersection, and sometimes you have to wait there for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. At that time, many beggars come from nowhere, and they knock on your, windows. They do all kinds of things, Usually you just brush I don't even look at them. If I look at them, then they'll make me feel little pity, and then make me feel give them something. But my greedy nature, I do not look at them. Even if I look at them and I sometimes feel that, okay, give him something. So my first impulse is to give him 5 rupees. But then my mind says, no, 5 rupees is too much, give him 2 rupees. My hand is going in the pocket. And this kind of thinking is going on. No, 2 rupees is too much, give him 1 rupee. And finally I wind up giving him 25 paisa, that's all. This is called greed. Even though I have money, I know this is a needy person. I cannot part with what I have. The inability to give, inability to part with what we have is called greed. And for that, the means datta, give, be charitable, be large-hearted. So kama, krodha, lobha, these are the 3 impulses. And they deny us the action, because whenever we submit ourselves to these impulses, it is a reaction, not an action. And therefore, whenever these impulses arise, damanam, daya, danam. Or in English, see. Control of the self, when there is calm or desire, compassion, when there is anger, and charity, when there is greed. See. In this way, we should constantly be working on our impulses and try to slowly gain a control over our mind so that impulses do not control us. Then alone, our faculty of choice is available to us. And when we make the choice, what choice do we make? Choice of being a giver rather than a grabber, a contributor rather than a consumer. This is how slowly our life will become full of action instead of reaction. And every small act of giving or charity or compassion will make us larger than what we are. We grow through every action, every one of those actions involving charity, involving compassion, involving control, involving giving, involving charity, involving contribution, involving helping, involving serving. We become greater and greater than what we are and discover the happiness which is within our own self. So this is a way of tapping into our own happiness or success. Ultimately, we gain the true success in our life. So thus, action, when properly performed with right attitude and deliberation, can become the means of success and happiness in our life. And when we don't do that, then we lose the opportunity of real success and real happiness in life. Meaning that we have no choice but to perform proper action. By not doing that, by reacting, we are hurting our own self. So human being can help himself or hurt himself. By action, we help ourselves. By reaction, we hurt ourselves. Okay, I'll stop here, and if you have any questions, we can answer them.